The U.S. is shoring up their forces in the Middle East, now with the arrival of the USS George H.W. Bush. This marks the first time in 20 years that 3 U.S. aircraft carriers have all been deployed to the region.
Those vessels carrying 15,000 sailors and Marines and more than 200 aircraft. This is an extraordinary show of force. Imagine if you're facing this, right? I mean, this is an incredible show of force by the American military, and it's centered all around the area, obviously, of the Strait of Hormuz, where you see these tiny dots that don't move too much on either side of that choke point. Now, the Pentagon says it's taking complete control of the area, most of it out in the Gulf of Oman, and that they have successfully ended Tehran's leverage on this key shipping lane.
Our blockade is growing and going global. America's military is unmatched, projecting power, denying passage to adversaries, and protecting our interest at the time and place of our choosing. No one sails from the Strait of Hormuz to anywhere in the world without the permission of the United States Navy. To the regime in Tehran, the blockade is tightening by the hour. We are in control, nothing in, nothing out. Iran's battered military, the IRGC specifically, has been reduced to a gang of pirates with a flag.
U.S. Central Command continues to maintain a strict blockade on all the ports. We're enforcing the blockade across the board against any ship of any nationality that is transiting to or from an Iranian port or territory. And as everyone saw this past weekend, we're prepared and postured to intercept them.
And national correspondent Matt Finn is joining us live from Dubai with more on this. Matt, good morning to you.
Good morning, Bill. Secretary Heggs has just updated the number and says 34 vessels have now heeded the warnings of the United States and returned to Iranian ports out on the Strait of Hormuz in the distance behind me. And the secretary is warning Iran to make a wise decision.
As we said previously, choose wisely at the negotiating table. All they have to do is abandon a nuclear weapon in meaningful and verifiable ways, or instead they can watch their regime's fragile economic state collapse under the unrelenting pressure of American power.
The U.S. Navy now has 3 aircraft carriers here in the Middle East region. The USS George H.W. Bush carrier has arrived in the Indian Ocean. Already here, the Gerald Ford and Abraham Lincoln. Secretary Hexeth says in addition to those 34 vessels that the U.S. is forced to turn around, the U.S. is also tracking other ships that are associated with Iran and idling outside of the U.S. blockade. Fox's Lauren Simonetti reports at least 9 Iranian tankers full of millions of barrels of oil are unable to get past the strait. And this weekend, Iran fired at least 2 ships. Secretary Hexeth says Iran's Navy has been reduced to pirates, and the U.S. is postured to handle any smaller boats or speedboats and any other threats.
Anyone with a speedboat, a gun, and the wrong intentions can do that. They know that we, the United States of America, control the flow of global shipping, and we know that they know. Their real Navy is at the bottom of the Arabian Gulf.
And we are tracking the possibility of, that second round of peace talks in Pakistan. We will keep you updated on that here from the Middle East. Bill, Martha.
All right, Matt Finn live in Dubai. Matt, thank you.
Thank you, Matt. With that, we bring in Vice Admiral Mark Fox, former Deputy Commander of CENTCOM. Admiral, great to have you with us. It is a striking
Good morning.
fact,
Glad to be there.
Good morning to you, sir, that we see the largest assembly of U.S. power, naval power, in the seas in the Persian Gulf that we've seen in 20 years, with 3 Air Force carrier strike groups in the region now. Explain to us what that looks like close up and what the power of that presence really is.
Well, a Navy carrier strike group independently has its own ability to understand has an awareness of what's going on around it with the E2s and all of the different sensors that go along with it. When you have 2 and now 3, what you've done, it's not just a linear increase in capability, it's more of a geometric increase in that now you can truly have 24/7 operations with big overlaps when you choose to have 2 carriers operating at the same time. So it brings an enormous amount of flexibility and increased capability with having 3 carrier strike groups operating together.
We heard Secretary of War Pete Hegseth say this morning that President Trump has given them the green light to start going after these Iranian small fast boats, the so-called Mosquito fleet. Take a listen.
President Trump has authorized the United States Navy to destroy any Iranian fast boats that attempt to put mines in the water or disrupt passage through the Strait of Hormuz, to shoot and kill. Our commanders have clear rules of engagement. If Iran is putting mines in the water or otherwise threatening American commercial shipping or American forces, we will shoot to destroy. No hesitation.
Vice Admiral, I sometimes forget just how big Iran is. It's basically the size of Alaska. It's got a huge coastline. How realistic is it, or how difficult is it going to be to find those small little ships on a coastline that big?
Well, the Strait of Hormuz, the geography favors us in this particular case because the only place where the IRGC Navy is capable of constricting or attacking merchant ships really is in that about 20 or 21 mile strait. So I have no doubt that we have had an unblinking eye on that, and before we had had a ceasefire. And so when I heard reports of small boats coming out and attacking merchant ships, I think that is the catalyst that created this change in our posture, even though there was a ceasefire where now we have authorization to strike and kill small boats coming out. I am confident that we have had a very, very strong surveillance and reconnaissance posture there and know where they're coming from and where they're going to. If they've put mines in the water, I would expect that we know where they are. So there's a new wrinkle in the rules of engagement that now it's not a wrinkle, it's a big positive thing now to say, okay, you can kill those small boats if or when they come out.
Yeah, I mean, it's an international waterway, so that would have really always been in effect. You can't mine an international waterway for sure. So when you read these other stories that are out there, Admiral, about how we're pulling all of our assets to one place, that we're lowering our stockpile of munitions, and some people think that's a concern when you look at China, big meeting coming soon with President Xi next month. What do you say about that?
Well, I think personally that this is a good shot of adrenaline to our industrial base, our defense industrial base. We need to reconstitute our ability to rearm and to produce the capabilities that allow our nation to essentially deter our enemies. If you have an enemy and you have forces that you will be able to inflict a pain on them, then they're going to be deterred from doing something. And if you don't have that capability, then that invites mischief on the part of whoever your potential adversary may be. So I'd like to say that this comes out of it's a good thing for our industrial base to have a shot of adrenaline to say we need to rearm those.
Yeah, even discussion about the auto manufacturers getting involved in producing some munitions in the future. We'll see where this goes. Admiral Fox, thank you very much, sir. Great to see you.